Hello and welcome back to Games Embassy with the Ambassadors of Gaming. I'm one of your two hosts, Ambassador Chris.
And I'm Ambassador Jason.
And we have news about stuff. Jason, how are you today?
I'm doing well. I'm excited for this. It's been a great week.
Yeah, you have a passing interest in Nintendo, correct? Just a little one?
Yeah, I definitely love Nintendo.
Yeah. Mike elected us. I know normally I'm partnered with Mike on the show, but Jason is a big Nintendo fan, as am I, and Mike's not really big on, well, he likes Nintendo games, but it's not all his speed. So we thought that Jason and I would be better off for doing this show. But before we get started, I'm going to go ahead and throw it over to Jason for our little Patreon plug. So take it away, Jason.
Awesome. If you want to show us some extra support, you can do so on Patreon at patreon.com/ambassadors of gaming. You get some cool perks like early access to the show, your comments, questions, and concerns read and answered on the show, along with exclusive Patreon content. Big thanks to our current supporters and future ones, as it really helps us grow.
Yeah, Mike needs to get out of that refrigerator box. He got a new one, but then a truck drove by and splashed a puddle on it, and now it's just dank and gross. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Jason for our first little bit of news. Personally, my favorite.
Two characters and yeah, I think everyone's. Two characters announced for Smash Ultimate, Dragon Quest XI Hero this summer, as well as several other Dragon Quest Hero coming in that package, and then Banjo-Kazooie coming out this fall, which was kind of a troll. It was hilarious.
Yeah, that was seriously an awesome presentation, because at first I thought it was just a troll. I thought they were going to be like, oh, we're going to reveal this and then just do some sort of like stupid video as like a troll. I was looking at it, I was like, that's stupid. Everyone wants it so bad. And sure enough, I didn't think he'd ever come. I was pretty confident he wouldn't make it to Smash.
I was excited because a couple of days earlier during the Xbox presentation, they were like telling us to tune into the Nintendo presentation. So I was wondering, like, it could be the Banjo-Kazooie, it can be a Banjo-Kazooie game coming, it can be them giving Rare access to recreate older Nintendo games, or it can be that huge rumor about Xbox Live coming to the Switch. So I knew it had to do something with, Banjo-Kazooie and Rare for sure, since Microsoft owns Rare. But this was absolutely amazing.
I thought it may have been a troll too, where like some people were saying, yeah, they should put Master Chief in Super Smash Bros. Like,
I heard that as well.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. But each of those,
the Dragon Quest.
Go ahead.
Oh, the Dragon Quest XI though, when they showed them, there was 4 separate Dragon Quest heroes from the different series, and that's where it gets kind of confusing. Like, we don't know if it's like just different skins of the Dragon Quest hero, or if they switch out or whatnot. They didn't really clarify
I'm pretty sure it's just a color palette. I'm pretty sure it's just a color palette swap, because they all have basically the same face, because the animation is all the same. But I can't get over the fact that they all look like Dragon Ball Z characters. Because the art's
pretty cool. They had that little sub menu.
Yeah,
the art style
is the same. Yeah. But I was looking at that and I was like, that's the closest you're ever going to get to Goku being in Smash. So be pumped up.
Yeah. I don't think that would ever happen. I mean, we got Snake though, so you never know.
Oh yeah, Snake! I was so surprised when I saw Snake get into it. But okay, so what else revolving around Dragon Quest is happening?
They announced Dragon Quest XI to come out September 27th. It's been out for a while on the PS4, and this is great. I've not really played a Dragon Quest game all the way through. I've like jumped around and started one here and there, but I've never really played from start to finish a Dragon Quest game. So I'm super stoked to try this out in September.
Yeah, this also makes me think of when Roy was included in Super Smash Bros. Melee. He was included before the game with Roy even released in Japan. In Super Smash, he appeared in Smash to raise hype for it, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is something very similar. Got the Dragon Quest XI hero, and all of a sudden, oh yeah, and by the way, Dragon Quest XI is making its way to the Switch on the 27th, so I can just see it being something kind of similar. But I'm in the same boat with you. I've only played a Dragon Quest game, I think, twice, and I didn't get very far in either of them, but I am eager to give this a try.
Yeah, and they also announced they made when it came out for the PS4, they made a Dragon Quest controller, like a slime, a blue slime controller. So they're actually
Is
bringing
this
that
a
over for the
DualShock?
Switch also. Yeah, it doesn't look like a controller. It looks like the slime from Dragon Quest that's blue, but like upside down. So like you're holding like the slime's head is on the bottom kind of thing. And they make it like
Okay.
a circular controller kind of. And they made it for the PS4, and they're actually making the same model but just for the Switch. That's coming out as well. It looks pretty cool. It looks exactly like the PS4 one.
Ah, that's kind of cool. Does Dragon Quest have any sort of online connectivity? Do you know?
They had an MMO, I believe. Um, but as far as their mainline games, no, it's pretty much single player. Dragon Quest X was an MMO, by Square Enix, so that was originally on the Wii in 2012, and then it was later ported to Wii U, PC, PS4.
Okay.
Um, yeah,
Because I have
so
this
that.
philosophy of when there are single player games that come out on a console, I usually try and wait to see if they'll come out on the Switch before I even buy them. If they don't have any
Oh,
online
I'm the same way.
connectivity, yeah,
I
I
am
did
the
that
same
with
way. But yeah,
Cuphead.
they did that with Dragon Quest X. They did MMO with Dragon Quest X, and like I said, Wii in 2012, then re-released on the Wii U, PC, PS4, Nintendo Switch. I guess that's Japan only. Android, iOS, and the 3DS. That's interesting. Which all support cross-platform. That is pretty cool. Did not
Even
know
with the
that.
3DS.
Yeah, yeah. It says already, and it's on 3DS. All which supported crossplay. That is
Yeah,
pretty interesting.
yeah. I'm surprised you can even make the online even work. It's not just a constant loading. I've seen the online play. It's just a constant loading bar. If you're unaware, that's
uh,
all. Any 3DS online play is just a continuous loading bar, and that's it. That's the online
yep.
experience for you. You're welcome. uh, and then along with Dragon Quest, we also get something else. Oh, I'm sorry, I was looking at the wrong thing. I'm an idiot. My bad. So I'm gonna go ahead and move us on. Luigi's Mansion 3. We got a real good gameplay debut. New mechanics of the Poltergust. Yeah, that's what it's called, the Poltergust. I've never
hmm
played a Luigi's Mansion game, so I'm also very excited to. I didn't own a GameCube, and I didn't get the one for the 3DS, so this will be the first one that I will ever play. But it looks cute. It looks fun, and they added some cooperative play to it as well.
I myself never owned the GameCube, but I did play when they had the game, like when they had those GameCube, PlayStation, and Xboxes in McDonald's. I did play a little bit of a Luigi's Mansion in there, and it was pretty cool. I wasn't really crazy about it. I did pick up Luigi's Mansion 2 on the 3DS. That was fun, and that had online play as well. That was pretty cool. And with the multiplayer in this one, 8 players, man, that's good, man. I like that. That's definitely some fun. The mechanics, like I feel like they took the best of both worlds and just molded it together into one game, and it looks like a lot of fun. It looks like a lot of fun for sure.
Whenever I see multiplayer, I just really hope it works. That's all I care about. It's so hard to advertise this multiplayer, especially online for Nintendo, if it just doesn't work. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It makes me
you roll
sad.
the dice. You roll the dice when it comes to online play on the Switch, man. Like it can be really good, and it could just not be so good. So
Like
hopefully
Splatoon
they
2.
nail it. So Tune 2 is good. The
No,
online
no, no.
play. It's
Let me clarify. I wasn't talking about the actual online play. I was talking about trying to chat
oh
using the app.
oh yeah. I'm with you on that one, man. That is,
It
oh man.
it worked for a solid 15 seconds, and then it sounded like my friend was speaking in a combination of slow motion and a Darth Vader voice changer.
Yep.
So
And not only that, the I have 4 Nintendo Switches for myself and my kids, and I got all Splatoon 2 on all of them. With the idea of us going in as a party of 4 and being able to play against other people. Um That's not so easy. You
Can you be
either
my
don't get a
dad?
chance. It either ended up happening where we all four got in, but then we got thrown on separate teams, or
Yes.
we just couldn't connect. And I'm like, what's going on, man? I just want to be a party of four going against four random people. And it was not easy. And we all love Splatoon and Splatoon 2. It's a great game. I just feel like they really need to work on this party functionality in their games.
I don't think it's a priority. We like I as sad as it is, I just don't think it's a priority. I think that they just
Yeah.
have it and they're like they think of it maybe as an extra. And I think it makes us even more upset because we've seen that there's been good online since the Xbox 360. Like there's been good online for like 15 years.
Yeah, since the original Xbox, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Like 15 years of solid internet, of good internet. And the fact that it's still not here just for a Nintendo device is just really. My friend always has a different opinion. He says, well, that's not what they target. I'm like, yeah, I know it's not what they target, but you can't, but at the same time, you can't advertise a game with online multiplayer functionality and then have it be on the back burner. It just doesn't work. But we could debate that forever. I tend to get into rants when it comes to that. So why don't you take us on to our next piece?
Yes, and I apologize ahead of time because I'm probably gonna mispronounce this, but
Ooh, I want to watch.
Seiken Densetsu 3 remake Trials of Mana coming in 2020. This is an action RPG. And it looks amazing. I love the way it looks. I love the way it played when they showed the gameplay. I'm very excited for this. And speaking of Trials of Mana, they did drop that same day that Direct happened.
The
The
collection.
Mana collection, yeah, the collection, um, completely translated in English, on the Switch, and I've yet to pick it up, but I want to pick it up. And it comes physical, in August. Doing a physical copy of that as well.
I love the physical copies, especially for Nintendo games. I always want the
Yes,
physical copies. That's just me.
I'm the same way, man. I actually bought some games twice because I buy the digital version for my kids so they don't lose them, and I buy the physical for me. It's a problem I have, I know. But yeah, if I can buy it physical, I definitely will. And I love digital games because I have PC, I have Steam, and Blizzard games and stuff, and they're all digital. It's fine, but it's just
You play
something about
Overwatch?
Nintendo, of course.
Oh, I love Overwatch. Okay, sorry. Sorry, I
No
just had to
problem.
say that. Continue. I'm wearing an Overwatch shirt
Um,
right now.
it's just something about Nintendo that you just need to have their games in physical, like the physical form of it. Their games are just so great. Um, I don't know. It could just be me. I'm a little bit crazy with collecting things, man.
That gold cartridge original Legend of Zelda. Gotta have that.
Yeah,
There's just something about it. You can justify it more too because they're cartridges, so it makes you feel a little better than buying a disc. Because a lot of
yeah,
disc-based games aren't even played on the disc anymore. They just use the disc for
yeah.
authentication and then
I
play
know.
it like a digital download, which kind of sucks.
Yep. And the loading time, like to install and all that.
Yeah. Oh look, I just got this brand new game. Let me wait like 3 hours on like 150 gig download in a day one
That
patch.
was that was me the day Xbox One came out. I was like, oh, I'm gonna play some fun games, and no, the first couple of hours was just downloading stuff. It was
How
lovely.
quick did you buy an Xbox One?
I didn't buy it at launch, because I had bought a Wii U before. That's why
Oh,
I didn't buy the Wii U at
I'm
launch,
pressing F
but
to
I
pay
bought the Wii
respect.
U. I bought the Wii U when I was able to get one, and it just happened to be around the launch of the Xbox One. Um, so I bought the Xbox One maybe like a month after it came out. Um,
Same.
and it was, I mean, it was a great console, but like I said, same with the PS4. That buying a game and then having to get it installed in the system, it's annoying. It really is.
Yeah, definitely. I bought mine around the same time too. I got mine with like the Connect. It was bundled with the Connect.
Yep,
Um,
because that was the selling
I
point.
love that sigh. He goes, "Yep."
And the
No
thing
one
was,
wanted it.
listen, when they debuted the Kinect, like in 2008, 2009, E3, it was amazing. that Milo demo game they had, where Milo was like talking to the presenter and like she's handing him stuff and would get scanned by the Kinect and it would be transported into the game and they would like interact with each other. It looked amazing. It was like Master Chief talking to Cortana kind of thing.
Yeah.
And in the Tony Hawk game, he took a design, he scanned it to the Kinect, and the Kinect scanned it, and then imported a design on the skateboard. That was like the future of gaming. And then it just turned out to be like, hey, let's just dance and let's do nonsense. Like that's what it turned out to be.
It's good on paper, but I think it had a lot of stuff with the Kinect and Kinect games because they didn't even release many games for that either. They had a few like Xbox proprietary ones, like first party. But I think the issue is the same way that virtual reality gaming isn't really taken seriously. It's kind of gimmickish. It doesn't do all that well. It's not super precise. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's just what it struggles with. Oh, and by the way, when the 1S and the 1X came out, you have to buy that. They're like, oh yeah, we got rid of the power supply. Oh great. But if you still want to use your Kinect, if you just happen to be one of the unfortunate people that bought one, you have to buy a big ass power brick to connect it.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Ugh. I did not
exchanging one power brick for another. Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Just in case you didn't know. So, but we could.
I had no idea.
Yeah. Whoa, we really got off track, didn't we? We were talking about about Trials of Mana. I don't even remember where we went wrong.
No idea.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
What's up next?
Well, yeah. I'm sorry. I feel so bad. I don't even remember where we left off on that. But anyway, something else that was soup that we already knew about, but we're still super excited for. Link's Awakening. We got some more details and gameplay. There's a really cool dungeon maker mode. Well, kind of cool, kind of not. It looks like you can only arrange the different rooms, but I don't think you can actually edit the rooms.
I don't think you can, but that is one step closer to getting a Zelda Maker.
Yes. I was thinking about that when I first saw that. I was like, we have Mario Maker, we have Dragon Quest Builders. Give us a Zelda Maker. Give us a Link you can switch between the styles of Link to the Past, the original Legend of Zelda, Four Swords, like all these different gameplay styles.
There's many art styles. Wind Waker.
They'd most likely all be top down kind of thing.
Yeah,
that's why I'm trying to.
Yeah, I guess it could be. It could. It would just be top down, but well, that new style. What was it? The Zelda Two Worlds. Is that what it is? The title?
I'm sorry.
The one for the 3DS, Zelda Two Worlds.
Oh, A Link Between Worlds. God, that game.
A Link Between Worlds. That's the name. That was a nice art style as well.
Yeah, that was like a reimagining of the gameplay design of A Link to the Past, which was so good.
Now they didn't say anything, but it would be really cool if they had that idea in the back of their mind. They're like, oh, maybe it may not do well, but if they could take this Dungeon Maker mode and let users to exchange like layouts, and then just look at the network traffic of that, and if it's really if the network traffic of people trading dungeon layouts between each other is large, then that right there tells you we need a Zelda Maker. Like that would sell because it's there. The network traffic's there. People are exchanging Dungeon Maker codes because they probably would do it with codes because it's Nintendo and they love codes. And it would show them that the people want a create your own Zelda, dungeon experience.
This is just making me sad.
Oh, I thought I lost you.
No, it's just making me sad. But going back to the main point. Yeah, going back to the main point, the gameplay, it's a very cute chibi style. It looks like it is a direct, it's not like a reimagining, it's just a remake. It's not like Link Between Worlds was like a reimagining, a new story, new place in the timeline. I'm pretty sure that this is the exact same game, just with a fresh coat of paint, new graphic design and everything. But it looks really fun. It looks very cute, very fun. I'm super excited.
I owned it. I owned it on the Game Boy Color. Never beat it though. I wasn't old enough to figure it out. I guess I just never beat it. I just kept starting over.
Bad person. There are two games in my life that I wish I could replay for the first time, and both of them are Zelda games. First one is A Link Between Worlds, and the second one is Breath of the Wild. So good.
A Link Between
Absolutely
Worlds
amazing.
was amazing. I'd stayed up many nights to beat that. Um, Breath of the Wild, I love it. The art style is absolutely amazing. The open world was absolutely amazing. I have not yet beat it, which is funny because this week after the Nintendo E3 with the announcement of
We're saving that one for
the
the end.
I know that's why I was like I wasn't saying it. But with Nintendo Direct that happened, I told myself I need to beat Breath of the Wild. I told myself I need to do it
Did
this
How far did
summer.
you get?
I got the first dungeon done. I got the water dungeon down, and then I
That's
ended up in the
it.
desert. Yeah,
That's it. That
I'm
game is
really,
so
I'm.
good.
It is. I'm just really bad about completing games. I'm really bad about beating games. I get
There is
distracted very easily.
there is there's a huge speedrun community for that game too.
I was
Um,
seeing that. Yeah,
yeah, and it's
it's
pretty
amazing.
broken. It's pretty funny how they break these games. You are hanging onto a tree while it's flying through the air. It's pretty hilarious.
Yeah,
Um,
I seen one clip where some guy like he would freeze the rock and like hit it a bunch, and then like freeze it again, hit it some more, and then it just like took off across the map, and he ended up somewhere and got some item. It was crazy. It's crazy how these
yeah,
people do it.
and the game it loads. It can't even load quick enough. Like you just see a whole bunch of like really bad textures, and it like slowly loads in.
Yep.
Um, but that is a great game, and the DLC for it, the Master Trials, were very good. The Master Trials and Champions Ballad were both pretty good. And if you like a challenge, you will like the Master Trials because that was hard. The second one was more
I'm looking.
story DLC.
I'm definitely looking forward to it. Like looking forward to actually beating the game relatively soon. So
Yeah,
uh, I'll keep you up
it's
to date
really
on that,
great.
on how that
Yeah,
goes.
yeah. You're missing out on an important portion of life. So from there, why don't you go ahead and take us on to our next one?
Fire Emblem Three Houses had another trailer shown, um, and it was gorgeous. Um, can't wait for this game to come out. I mean, I know it was delayed a bit, but it's right around the corner. It's July. Um, I'm so excited for this game. Again, never beaten a Fire Emblem game. I've played them. I've never beaten them,
See, you
but
and
I
I are
will beat
awful. I've
this
never
one.
even played a Fire Emblem game, but you've played them and then just haven't beaten them.
They are so much fun, man. They are so much fun. Um, I get distracted. I'm a gamer. I love so many different kinds of games. I get distracted very easily. Another game comes up, I jump on it and start playing it. I don't know.
I'm not big on turn-based combat. It just wasn't my thing until I played Octopath Traveler. That was such a good game.
Oh my gosh, Octopath Traveler.
Did
I
you beat it?
also own that. No,
It's okay.
I
It's
got
okay.
several of the followers though.
It's okay. I
Oh
got
man.
all 8 characters, and I'm on the 4th chapter of a few of them, like the last chapter. And you know how the boss encounters are like 40 minutes to an hour long? I got so
Yes.
close to the end of Therion's chapter 4, and his name was in the red. He was so close, and I didn't think he had another ace, but then all of a sudden he powers up and goes, "I'm gonna take the thing that matters most to you." And I was like, "Crap! I don't know what that means, and I don't have enough. I don't have enough like swords or something to break his armor." And you know what he did?
Hmm.
He didn't kill my teammates. He just sucked them up. A hole opened up underneath my other 3 teammates, other than Therion, and just sucked them up. They were gone.
Oh man.
Weren't there. And I look up at the turn screen. He's got 2 turns after I attack, and then another 2 turns before I attack. I was killed in the first turn,
Oh
and
man.
I never went
That
back.
game. That game was. They
Uh,
underestimated how great that game was going to be. Like they were having trouble keeping it in stock. The physical copies of it, obviously.
yeah,
It's an amazing game. Absolutely
I
amazing.
never went back after I lost after I lost to that boss. I was so mad,
It's
and I still
it's
haven't
hard
touched
sometimes 'cause
it.
those boss battles are so long, and you have no idea. Like it's just so long.
Is
They
is
they
this
lasted
Fire
good.
Emblem game? Is this Fire Emblem game the same gameplay as the previous ones?
No, because Fire Emblem. Well, you mean like turn based?
Yeah.
Are you talking about like yeah, yes, it is turn based. But Fire Emblem hasn't been on console in a very long time. The graphics are absolutely amazing. But yes, it's still the same gameplay style where it's turn based strategy. And it's a lot of fun. And this people get drawn into these stories. There's so many things you can do. Characters getting married, having kids, passing down abilities through that. It's really, really like you put some time into these games, man. It takes a while to beat, especially if you play it at the right difficulty. Where if a character dies, they're gone, they're dead. Like you can't use them ever again, and you invested so much time in them and got them trained in the right weapons and stuff, and they die, and
I
then
feel like
you
that would
don't have
drive
them
people to
anymore.
I feel like that drive people to drink. I don't think that
I
that's
mean, they've added easier modes, so like your characters, if they die, you can't use them for the next mission or whatnot, or they just won't die at all. Um, and you just keep going. For like to make it easier, like not everyone's so hardcore when it comes to these games. But yeah, their story, the gameplay, the story, it's amazing, and I doubt that game is gonna let anyone down. It's looking really good.
all right. Well,
Um,
speaking of good story games, let's go on to some ones that were rather controversial. Please continue.
Nintendo in their Nintendo fashion of having like little skits. They announced Resident Evil 5 and 6 is coming to the Switch. The way they did it was pretty cool. They had this boy, well, I guess a guy and girl, walk into a mansion with a Switch, and they're sitting there playing Resident Evil 1 and Resident Evil 4, the ones that recently
It was a
came out on the
haunted
Switch.
mansion.
In a haunted mansion, yeah. And then every time they're playing, they're like getting spooked out, looking around the room, like they're hearing noises and stuff. And next thing you know, boom, Resident Evil 5, Resident Evil 6 coming to the Switch. And it looks like Resident Evil 5 is going to have the co-op play on one console from the screenshots they were showing.
That
Um,
horror trailer was still better than that rooftop trailer for the Nintendo Switch where that girl is like playing at like a rooftop party for the Switch.
yeah, hmm yeah,
Both cringy,
I,
but I like the haunted house one
yeah,
better.
yeah, I did too. And it could speak that I really like scary stuff, or when they attempt to make it scary. But
Yeah.
never beat 5 or 6. I played them a bit, so we're gonna keep that
I'm not
trend
even
going.
I'm done gasping,
Um,
at least
I
for
did beat
now.
Resident Evil 4. I did beat Resident Evil 4. Not on the
Oh,
Switch, but
everyone's
on the
beaten
GameCube.
Resident Evil 4. I haven't
um,
beaten Resident Evil 4.
it. I'm excited for this to come out. Hopefully, they don't overprice it like they did the most recent Resident Evils. That would be great if they didn't do that again, Capcom.
I mean, the
But
most recent Resident Evils were AAA titles though.
yeah, yeah, they're great. But still, like when you take, they could have priced it a little bit better. I mean, these games are pretty old, and that was it
Yeah,
$30 a
no, I
piece. That's
understand what you
90 if you
mean.
wanted all three. I'm excited. I hope that the Resident Evil 5 co-op play on the same console works out well. From what it looked like it was on the same console. They had two separate screens, roughly side by side. Um, Online play for Resident Evil 5 would be great if we could get voice chat.
That's a big if. And if it does,
I know.
yeah.
Well, I would give them. I would think they would actually be able to do it because these other developers don't seem to have a problem using the voice chat system that Fortnite uses, which I don't quite remember the name of the system that they
It's like
use for.
proximity based, right?
Not necessarily proximity based. It's another program they use to get voice chat to work because Fortnite uses it and um what other game uses it? There's several other games that use voice chat. It's not proximity based at all. Um, as far as the way the app that runs in the background works, but it's like open an open application um that they use. I forgot the name of it, but Nintendo doesn't want to use that for some reason. They want you to go through the app. Um,
It's because they're trying to
I
enforce their app, so they don't want you to like they don't want games to come out with things that circumvent their app. Do you know what I mean?
yeah. Um, I just I don't see it. I don't see why they make people struggle using their app that doesn't really work.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
like I said, we could go on with that for a while when it comes to complaining about Nintendo's voice chat or online services. You can go on forever. It's
yep.
just gonna make me
Uh,
sad.
yeah, I know, and it really does stink.
I
What
was
can you
already
do?
sad from
It
talking
doesn't.
about Dungeon Maker. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna move us on. So
Yeah.
some really good news. No More Heroes 3 got announced coming to Switch in 2020. Travis Touchdown coming back to mess some
That
people up.
that was actually a surprise announcement. I mean, I know there was many leaks about what was going to be announced and what was coming out. That I don't believe that was anywhere on anyone's leaks or anyone's radar. Um, the developers of No More Heroes, I know they made like a little spin-off game for the Switch, and they specifically said, if you want No More Heroes 3, this game needs to sell well. As far as it selling well, I'm not sure it did. It was very different gameplay. It wasn't like the typical No More Heroes gameplay. Uh, and I don't think it did sell well, but they look at them, they're making the game anyway. So that's awesome.
Yeah. I just love the cringy like I don't know if you've played Bayonetta, but the it's very cringy in a lot of ways. Like I mean, yeah, it's got a very serious plot, but like with her like in her just weird clothing or her hair clothing, I feel like this game has a lot of story similarities to how cheesy and cringy it is at times, and I'm all about it.
I remember when it debuted on the Wii, like, because it started off on the Wii. th- I believe I remember because I never played it, but I remember people talking about how you had to shake the Wii remote in a certain way to like power it up. Uh,
You
so
talking
I
about
know
like a
exactly what
shake
you
weight
mean.
kind of thing,
Not
or like back
the
and
way you would
forth?
shake it, up and down motions
That's
of the Wii remote.
that sounds like a shake weight.
Yeah, but shake weight, you normally shake it like left and right, like near your head. This was more like an up and
Oh,
down. Like, yeah, it was very weird.
yeah, that
But
sounds very
I never played it.
strange.
But they had very odd things you would do in the game. It was pretty funny.
Yeah. So look forward to that. I certainly am. Next up, if you want to fulfill your Gundam fantasy, Daemon X Machina is coming to the Switch on September 13th. That gameplay looks cool. I love anything that resembles a Gundam because I loved Gundam growing up.
Yeah, I did as well. I loved watching it on Toonami. They actually have some accessories, some Joy-Cons, custom made Joy-Cons coming out. With when I say custom, I'm not talking about just the color. Like these
Are
are
you
like
talking about the
fatter
Hori announcement?
Joy-Cons.
The Hori
Yeah,
controllers that are coming out with? Yeah, they've got like a. I've seen them. They have like a grip. They're totally different. They're supposed to be
yeah,
like better, more ergonomics that you don't need a case on your Switch, like a grip on your Switch to hold it without your hands cramping.
yep. And it has like
I
the
did see
X
that.
on the X button. It kind of has like the logo.
Yeah, I saw that.
Um, so that was pretty cool. I'm psyched for it. They had like a little bit of a beta that came out a bit ago, and some people gave some feedback on it. I guess there was some stuff that wasn't quite to their liking. I wonder if they addressed that
Yeah, and I watched a few
with the
videos on
final
that as
release.
well. The people said that there were going to be things that were tweaked before it was like that what they were using was a prototype, and that the final product would have a few things that are changed. But I did see that it was Daemon X Machina themed, which for a big game like this, it's not a bad idea. You know what I mean? It's good to advertise it around a big game coming out that everyone's super excited for.
Yep. Uh, with that, we had actually another shocker that wasn't. I don't believe was anywhere on the leaks that
Oh,
came out.
Jason's excited for
Han
this one.
Yeah, Panzer Dragoon remake announced for the Switch, and I was a little bit I was excited, but then I was like kind of confused because I kind of remember playing this kind of game when I saw the screenshots. I was like, man, that game looks really familiar. And sure enough, it was out in Sega Saturn when I played it, and it's a pretty cool game. I liked it a lot as a kid when I played on Sega Saturn, so I'm looking forward to actually playing it and hopefully beating it on the Switch when it comes out.
I'll believe it when I see it.
I will let you know if it happens. That
I
might just
will.
be
I
my
will
new thing. Every
drive to
time I beat a
wherever you
game,
are. I'll drive to wherever you are and buy you a drink if you manage to finish any of these games that we're talking about.
I'm gonna start when I beat games, hopefully more often, taking a
Yeah,
picture of it and
yeah,
sending it to you.
yeah. That's what I need. So, unfortunately, I never owned a Sega Saturn and I never played Panzer Dragoon. And it kind of makes me feel bad because there's a lot of games in this list that Nintendo showed off that I was like, I've never actually played before, or I've only played like for like a short time that I'm eager to get back into. Panzer Dragoon, I'm gonna probably look at some other people play it before I decide to pick it up, just because I have no idea like what to expect, even after looking at the trailer video.
Yeah, yeah, it is definitely different.
So from there, we have a new Contra that was announced for Switch, along with the Contra Anniversary Collection, which the Anniversary Collection was released on the day of E3 that Nintendo showed it off with the new Contra coming soon. And that game, I've also never played Contra.
You serious?
Yes, I'm serious. I've never played Contra.
I thought everyone played that one. I played my favorite was like the original Contra. I enjoyed that one, and there was one I played on the PS2. I don't remember the name, but when they announced the new Contra, I didn't know what it was at first. I just saw like this kind of like top down shooting action thing going on with these weird like here like weird people because they weren't all humans, and I was like, what is this? I was like, oh, this looks it's like what this looks like a no name game, and then at the end, I was like Contra. I was like, what? That was Contra? Like knowing it was Contra kind of caught my interest because it was very different than what I'm used to when I see Contra. So I'm actually pretty psyched for it because it looks very different. It's coming out on all platforms. Um, it looks it looks like it's fun. It has a 4-player multiplayer, and I think it has online support as well. It's going to be a fun game. And then when they announced the anniversary collection dropping at the same time, there goes my money. There goes my wallet, man.
Oh,
Buy
there's a
more
lot of games
games.
I'm worried about that. I'm like, oh crap. Like I'm gonna be in college. Oh, I'm in college right now, but I'm not. I'm out of classes. But it's gonna be in the fall semester when a lot of these games come out, and I'm gonna be in some big trouble just because I'm gonna be irresponsible and buy all of the games. So if you're excited for Contra, awesome. There it is. I might give it a try. I've never played a Contra, and I don't like feeling judged, so maybe I'll give it a try.
I
So
would advise you to pick up the anniversary collection because it's you get a lot of games in there. I'm not quite sure how many are in there, but it's quite a few.
it's like 9 or 10,
Um,
I thought.
yeah, I'm not sure if it's every single one because I definitely remember playing a PS2 Contra. It was very different, and I haven't seen it. I don't think it was in that collection. I'm gonna have to double check when I get on my Switch tonight. I'm not sure if it was in that collection, but I remember playing a PS2 version of Contra. It was pretty cool. Um, Moving on, new Ultimate Alliance 3 trailer showcased loads of new characters. They announced an expansion pass that's going to include more playable characters from Marvel Knights, X-Men, and Fantastic Four.
How long has Ultimate Alliance 3 been out for?
It hasn't came out yet.
Okay, that was what I was confused about. I've never played the Marvel Ultimate Alliance games, so I couldn't remember if this game had already come out and now it's just making its way to Switch or whether it's going to be new on the Switch.
No, it's actually exclusive to the Switch,
Okay, that's kind of
which
cool.
is great. Having an awesome game like this being exclusive to the Switch. I've not played Ultimate Alliance 1 or 2. I know when they announced this, I was excited. I spoke to some of my friends, and some of them were a bit upset with the art style because it's not the same art style as 1 and 2. When I looked up 1 and 2, I was kind of upset that 1 and 2 looked like that. I did not like the art style of Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2. It looked dark and grimy and just Like, just I didn't like it. I didn't after seeing Ultimate Alliance 3's debut trailer. I looked back at Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2 and said, how can anyone like even really like this art style? But I enjoy the Ultimate Alliance 3 art style. It looks amazing. It's bright and it's great. I like it a lot. So I'm super excited for this game to come out. And now knowing that there's gonna be even more playable characters, I'm stoked. Like 4-player action RPG, I'm ready to go, man.
Take a breath because you're very excited.
I am talking
I
very quickly, yeah.
I will probably play this. I hope there's. I mean, there's obviously going to be multiplayer for this kind of game.
Yeah.
There's obviously multiplayer, and I'll talk to a few of my friends and see if they're going to get it, and that might entice me to get it. Not that I don't like Marvel game or games based on like superheroes or anything. I just don't think I'd get a lot out of this if I was just playing by myself. So, but the gameplay
And
did. I have to agree with you. It looked really good. The gameplay looked really good. I like the art style.
yeah, well, the one thing I don't like about this game is like when you play by yourself, you're not by yourself. You still have 3 AI characters with you, and that's kind of a turnoff for me. If I'm playing by myself, I would like to just be the one hero that I have, which is why I like that they have 4-player local play, like just like on the same system, split screen. Well, I don't think it'll be split screen; it just shares one giant screen. You got the 4-player on the same console, you got the 4-player independent console, and you get the 4-player online. So there's many different ways you can play the game, which is absolutely amazing. So, um, moving forward from an awesome announcement like that,
We get a mediocre
gonna,
announcement or like an oh yeah, that's still a thing announcement.
yeah, some people would be excited for this. New Mario and Sonic at the Olympics game trailer debuted for the Switch, and I guess it's coming out for every console, including mobile. There was a mobile version coming out for iOS and Android. I was never big on Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games ever. So I know some people are excited, so that's great for you guys, but I can't get into those games.
I have to agree. I played the very first one, if I recall, and I just was not impressed. And before we started recording, we actually got into a huge debate about the Olympics in general. Before we were even
Yeah,
recording, we were talking about Olympic like coliseums being built and then just not used. So
yeah, I bit of a downer.
yeah, we started
Yes.
having a sad conversation. So way to screw the pooch, Mario and Sonic. That's great. But yeah, so if you're pumped up for that, awesome. I don't really know all the game modes. I assume there will be new ones. Hopefully, a wide range of characters. So if you like that, awesome. Look forward to it. Moving on, Spyro, the Reignited trilogy, is coming to Switch, which I am super pumped up for. This is one of those games I was talking about earlier where I was waiting for it to get to the Switch before I bought it.
I was exactly the same way. As soon as they announced Crash for the Switch, and then they announced Spyro, I was like, because I bought Crash for the PS4, and then I bought Crash for the Switch. And when they announced Spyro, I said, well, I'm not gonna buy that till it comes to the Switch. And it's been
I
so
said, "What
long.
did
We
I
haven't heard.
learn? What did I learn from
Yeah,
last time? Wait it
yeah,
out,
and
bro."
it was so long. We didn't hear anything about it, and people were debating if it was even gonna come anymore. Spyro, that is my childhood. Spyro, Crash, like that right there. I spent so many hours not beating the games, but playing them. I played them, just couldn't beat them.
You are
Oh,
going to be
the
surprised.
trend continues.
My favorite Spyro game is actually Attack of the Rhinox for the Game Boy Advance.
I've never played that
I
one.
I loved that Spyro game. I went back and played it so many times. I thought it was so good. Oh
That
my! What's the villain's name in Spyro? The like I can't remember his name.
uh, neither can I.
Oh, you're letting me down right now.
I don't remember. I do know that
I need to look it up right now. It's happening. What is her
there's many
name?
villains.
No, the
Uh,
main villain. Spyro villains. Everyone, stay tuned. Ripto. That was what it was. Ripto. Thank you.
Ripto.
It was on the edge of my tongue. He looks kind of messed up. Yeah, I forgot. I couldn't remember his name, but I knew he looked weird. It's Ripto. That was what I
I'm
couldn't remember.
kind of upset they let this franchise go, man. Like they brought in Skylanders, and it was just a whole different game, and we really never saw the Spyro that we grew up with anymore after that.
Yeah, and
It
Skylanders went by.
Yeah, Skylanders was nice for what it was, but it was I would take Skylanders as a spin-off of Spyro, and they should have just kept Spyro going, like, newer games. But I mean, I guess they did make a bunch of games with Spyro. They can't just keep it going like that. It's
Yeah.
quite a bit of them. All
So
right.
that comes out September 3rd. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, but I sure hope I am. Cadence of Hyrule releases on June 13th. It is a rhythm based Zelda themed game, which I actually, first time I heard about it, I thought it sounded really gimmicky, but I liked the trailer. I don't know if you saw the trailer. I actually liked the way the gameplay looked.
Um, when they announced this before E3, in another direct, and it's actually it came out yesterday. I was psyched when I first saw this because I was watching the gameplay and I was like, "Oh, I've seen this before." It was based off another game. I forgot the name of the original game. Um, but it was another game, and then now they are merging it with Zelda and Link and Hyrule. And I was sitting there watching, and I was like, "Oh, I remember seeing this character before from another game." And then I started hearing like, music, soundtracks from
Zelda music.
Zelda. Yeah, and I'm like, what? Hold up! And then I just lost my mind when I saw them in there. I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is crazy!" Uh, so yeah, I'm psyched for it. Haven't bought it yet. Planning on buying it,
And
and
not beating it.
probably hoping to beat it. Yeah, hoping
Probably
to.
won't.
But yeah,
Probably won't.
I'm surprised they didn't just drop it on E3. Like it came out yesterday. And Nintendo's Direct was on Tuesday. They could have just dropped it on Tuesday
They could
as a
have just made it. And by
surprise.
the way, this game releases today, and then the crowd like
Yeah,
freaks out about it. It's like that would have been
it
kind of cool.
it would have been nice for sure.
So pick that up. I might pick it up too, just because I like the way the gameplay looks. Why don't you take us on to our next one?
Alien Isolation coming to the Switch. Not played this game, but I've heard many, many good things about this game. Alien Isolation. Heard it was really good, and there's not many Alien games that are good. So I'm definitely gonna pick this up when it comes to the Switch.
I have never played it. I've never seen it played. You know, for Nintendo fans, we really do not know a lot about these games that are on this list. It kind of makes me feel bad. This is
When
like
you
a
think
third
about
thing
it,
in a row to make me feel bad.
when you think about it, some of these games that are coming out were never on Nintendo platforms to begin with, so that cuts us some slack right there.
Oh yeah,
It's not
okay, I'll
like,
give you.
oh,
Okay, that
Mario
makes me feel a little
Sunshine,
better.
what is that? Or
Yeah,
Mario Kart Double Dash? I don't know what that is.
dude. While you said that, when you were talking earlier about playing Luigi's Mansion in a McDonald's, I played Super Mario Sunshine in a McDonald's.
That was on there
I
as
just
well.
know,
Yeah, they had
yeah,
quite a few games you can play. The Pikmin also, the original Pikmin was on there as well. Um,
Pikmin.
that was pretty cool. I wish they would do
We're
that
moving
again.
away from Alien Isolation.
I know.
We
Um,
we yeah.
yeah, let's just keep going. There's no need to talk about McDonald's.
Okay. So
Animal
Alien
Crossing.
Isolation is coming to the Switch. I
Oh
don't know if we have a date for that yet, though. I'm not sure. If we
no,
do, I'm
because
sure Mike will.
it should be this year, I believe. They did like a little huge little montage of games that were coming out in the middle of the direct, and some of them had release dates. Some of them just had the dates they were coming out, like the year they
Oh
were
yeah,
coming
you're
out.
right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
So
Okay. All right. I know you want to move on to the next one. I do as well. So it's something that people were waiting for.
Animal Crossing coming in 2020 got delayed. It did get delayed. They were talking about release date of 2019. They didn't give us an exact date, but with Pokemon normally coming out in November, I would imagine this game would have came out in December. So it's not that far away. It's March 20th, 2020, which is only like 3 months from, December, which would I believe it would have came out in December. Uh, they gave us gameplay. They gave us a ton of gameplay,
Yeah,
as well as the name.
it's
The
like Animal Crossing meets The Sims. Like they just when you thought you couldn't customize your town any more than you actually could, there's no such thing as getting a crappy town now because you make everything.
exactly. Uh, title the name of it we got was Animal Crossing New Horizons, and it looks gorgeous. It looks beautiful. I never played the original Animal Crossing on GameCube, but I had friends that did, and that looked nice. I didn't get into Animal Crossing until the 3DS with New Leaf,
New Leaf.
and it was so much fun. This
I love New
game,
Leaf.
it being delayed, it's fine. Like we have so many games coming out prior to this game coming out. I know there's a lot of people upset, but there's so many games coming out, and I'd
If
rather
people
it
are
be
upset, they
delayed.
can get over it.
Yeah, I'd rather it be delayed and done right than rushed and being known as a terrible game for the rest of its time.
Yeah. What Mike and I always say, well, more so what I always say to Mike, is that a lot of these games, these series, they don't come out with multiple titles on a console. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
this Animal Crossing, we're gonna have for a while, a very long time, and it's gonna need to be supported for a long time. So they need to make sure that they get it right. Because
they do that. Yeah,
if they don't
they do
make
that.
another one until their whatever far off system that comes off to succeed the Switch in the far future, uh, we might not see an Animal Crossing until all the way then. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they do that with a lot of their titles. They normally do that with Mario Kart. You get one Mario Kart per console. Same with
Smash.
Smash. Same with the Mario game itself. Whether it's 2D or 3D, you'll get either both and just one copy of each, or just one or the other. Um, so and remember, everyone's gonna remember a game that was rushed and done poorly. No one's
Anthem.
gonna remember the time. No one's gonna remember. Oh, Animal Crossing, it's a great game, but we had to wait an additional 3 months. No, you're
Yeah.
gonna be like Animal Crossing. It was a great game. I'm glad we got it.
Yeah. Also,
So
just a little thing. Nintendo likes to advertise their games kind of one at a time. They put all of their advertising and all of their um, budgeting and everything towards one game at a time. And I think right now that game is Pokemon. They're putting all their hype
yes,
towards Pokemon, and then after Pokemon releases, all of a sudden all the commercials are going to be for Animal Crossing. So that'll
exactly.
help them too.
And you
I'm
can
excited.
see that in their E3 booth. It was like their main thing was they had a giant Pokemon gym as their show floor. That was their main game they were debuting at E3 was Pokemon. So we can get more into that in a
Yeah.
few.
Um, But before we move on, one thing that I was super excited about was one of the multiplayer aspects of it. I have one Nintendo Switch in my house because my fiance, while she does have a 3DS, she didn't want to buy a Switch because it's $300 and she wasn't sure how many games she'd really play on it. So she wasn't sure
Mm.
whether it'd be worth buying. So we were kind of concerned about who would be able to play Animal Crossing at what time because the old style, you'd have to go sleep in a bed, one person could play at a time on one console. But now you can play multiple people on the same console in the same town at the same time, which is really awesome.
Exactly. Like Nintendo lands it when it comes to multiplayer locally. Like
Yeah.
they take off and run with it, man. Now they can just get that going on online.
Yep. No more
Like
talking about the online. No more. We've done it. We've done it too many
it's
times.
hard. It's
It is hard.
2019. It's
Let's
like
okay.
let's go.
Let's move on to a good single player title, which I was actually really pumped up for. The Witcher 3 was announced to come to Switch. I didn't buy The Witcher 3, but of course my brother Mike, who is usually the one I record with, he played The Witcher, and I think he sank like 30 plus hours into that game, and he said he didn't come close to beating it. It's a very good game to play over a long term. So I am definitely picking it up when it comes out.
It's a very long game, and they got a ton of great reviews. I never played Witcher 1 or 2. I hope I don't have to know anything about that. I'll probably like watch a YouTube video about what happened in those games. But never got Witcher 3. But I know it's an amazing game. I know it's a long game, and I know Nintendo works some magic. Well, I wouldn't say Nintendo. The developers of Witcher 3 worked some magic and got it on the cartridge. No download required. Everything's on the cartridge and ready to go for you when you buy it. The screenshots they showed looked great to me. People did complain about the quality. It looks fine to me.
Of course,
like
people
that's
are going to complain
playable.
about the quality. Yeah,
That is playable. It doesn't look bad. It doesn't look like Ark on the Switch. it looks good.
I will tell you bad quality. Did you play Hyrule Warriors on the Wii U?
Yeah, no, I did not.
Okay. Well, the actual artwork was actually really cool. So they thought, hey, let's release a version of this for the 3DS. That is the definition of bad quality. Look at the Wii U version and then play the 3DS version, and it is just so awful. The draw distance is terrible. You see enemies popping in and out of existence. It is just so bad. So,
yeah,
that's how I think. That's how I feel. This is not bad quality.
It's not to me. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a great game that I hope to one day beat. Going with that trend.
If there's one game that I would forgive you for not beating, it's The Witcher, because it's very long.
I would hope so, yeah. I would hope so.
One thing I am expecting with Witcher, though, is to have a very similar problem that Breath of the Wild had. A lot of people were criticizing the Switch right at its release because Breath of the Wild was a very big game. And so in handheld mode, it would drain that battery in like a few hours, in like 2 or 3 hours, it drained the battery. And people were really concerned about it. I would bet dollars to donuts that The Witcher 3 is going to be the exact same way. It's going to be, it's because it's so huge, and having that open world fully loaded is definitely going to put a strain on the Switch's battery.
It will, but I mean, you just recharge it. Like, just I've seen people complain about this stuff. Like especially when the Switch first came out, they would do like battery tests to see how long a game would last. Just recharge the Switch. Play with it plugged in. I know the portability is great. I know that you don't want to be tethered to a charger, but getting 3 hours with quality like this, think about 10 years ago. That's unheard of. Like, also, it wasn't happening.
Where are you playing the Switch at that you don't have access to like a plug or an outlet? Or more specifically, where are you going out in the open to sit and play for 3 hours? And if you are sitting and playing for 3 hours, if you're a woman, you have a purse. If you're a dude, your Switch case most likely has enough space to put a little battery pack in it. You know what I mean? Like, the battery life thing was never a big issue for me. It's huge. It's not something you're putting in your pocket and taking with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, you got the wall outlet chargers, you got battery packs you can charge from, you got the car charger you can charge from. Now, if you told me that The Witcher 3 on in handheld lasted 45 minutes, that's a problem. But we have not run into that kind of problem yet. We have not had a game that ran like less than an hour handheld. That would be a problem. But these games lasting 2.5, 3 hours handheld, that's amazing. That's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I'm going to move on to the next one because I was super pumped up for this. We definitely got more gameplay of Astral Chain. If you're unaware, this is developed by Platinum Games, same people that developed Bayonetta. So this gameplay looked very cool and very Japanese. I hope you know what that means.
I was so shocked when I first saw this gameplay and they announced this game. My jaw was on the floor. To see
this game is awesome.
What they're doing with this game on the Switch, I was mind blown. Like, if they could do this on the Switch, there's no excuse as to why we have WWE 2K18 the way it is. Like, that's lazy development. That's lazy development. I was looking forward to that game. that is lazy development. If they have this game, Astral Chain, coming out the way it is, and it plays the way they're showing us it plays with that gameplay, there's no excuse. I mean, it's gorgeous. I'm so excited for it. I am definitely beating that game. And it's right around the corner. It's in August. Like, oh, that game is so amazing. It looks so
Yeah.
great.
This is
I'm
gonna
very
tide
hyped for
me
it.
over. This is gonna tide me over until Destiny Shadowkeep comes out. I'm an avid Destiny player, if you don't know, Jason. I love
Oh,
Destiny.
I love Destiny as well.
Oh,
I
we're
just
bonding. What do you play it
don't.
on?
Started off on the Xbox with Destiny 1, Xbox One, on the Destiny 1. And then Destiny 2, I went to PS4. And then I went to the PC when they finally released it on PC because I couldn't
We
wait.
we were bonding. We're not bonding anymore. So, well, with crossplay coming, but that's a discussion for another, or not crossplay, cross
They
save coming.
announced that? They did?
Cross save. They announced cross save.
Oh, well, that makes me happy too, though, because then, yeah, that makes me happy.
Yeah, it's pretty great because I own Destiny 3 on 3 separate platforms. I'll tell you about it sometime. So, why don't you take us on to the next big, well, not really big because we already know, but go ahead and take us
No,
on to our next one.
this is big. This is really big.
Pokemon on steroids.
I love Pokemon. Like, I've loved it since I was in, what, 4th grade when it came out in the US. It is my like, that is one game I definitely beat every time I play one. Pokemon Sword and Shield comes out November 15th. They had gameplay. They did a game. They had gameplay of the wild area. They had a gym battle on the E3 floor that people can play. They debuted 2 new Pokemon. They talked about all kinds of stuff. So first thing they talked about was Pokemon Plus. It's still kind of usable. They spoke
Kind of.
about how you can transfer a Pokemon to it, and then you get like some kind of rewards when you bring it back. They didn't clarify on what kind of rewards though.
It's probably very similar. It's probably very similar to the way it worked with Pokemon Let's Go. I'm sure there's some XP gain involved from walking your Pokemon around.
Yeah, probably some XP, maybe find an item,
Yeah.
something like that. And then they debuted the multiplayer in the wild area. They did a raid battle. That was cool. That was really cool. They had on the raid battle they had a condition, and the condition for this particular raid battle against the Steelix was that the Steelix had to be defeated within 10 turns. That's interesting. That means they can be different conditions for different Pokemon.
Yeah.
That brings out some gameplay right there.
They're doing a lot to try and keep the Pokemon Go audience that they brought in with Pokemon Let's Go. You know what I mean? So now they're trying to usher those people in. So then they're viewing raid battles, which the Pokemon Go players are already used to, with all those raid battles for legendary Pokemon
Yeah.
and that you can get.
I mean, Pokemon Go aside, and I love Pokemon because I play it all the time. They needed, with it coming to the Switch, they have to have some kind of multiplayer that's just not. I mean, I love the battling, but we need we need more. We need more multiplayer in these Pokemon games. Especially with it being on the Switch, we needed more. And this, I feel like they hit the ball. It's gonna be cool. You can walk around the wild area and see other trainers and see what they're doing, and then meet up with them at these raids and take down these giant Pokemon. I'm very excited about that.
One thing that I'm drawing a blank here. Oh yeah. Switch's online multiplayer shines in this case because these aren't real time, these are turn based. So
Yeah.
this is where Switch's online really this is where Nintendo Online really thrives.
Yeah, so well, yeah, it's turn based, but you'll be able to see like other trainers around you in the wild area, like walking around, and well, that's what they said. You'll see them walking around. I don't know what it's gonna look like when they're battling a Pokemon though. Like, let's just say you see your friend walking.
I'm picturing a laggy trainer that's moving around without their legs moving.
It could be, yeah, very well
Like
could be.
sliding
Or
around
they could
like
just
a
be,
ghost.
or they could just be standing there with like just like it would like just a deer in the headlights just standing there. It would be nice if they showed like a bubble over the head and show them like what Pokemon they're like battling. But it is Nintendo Online, and we know how that
Yeah.
is.
Yeah,
Sadly,
I'm hopeful. Nintendo Online for Pokemon games isn't like I said. This is where it thrives for turn-based things. This is where it thrives. One more thing to note: the Pokeball Plus cannot be used as a controller. You can use it for the whole bring your Pokemon over, but it does not support the same controller gameplay that Pokemon Let's Go did, which kind of makes me sad. But I'm not too bothered. I have two custom colorware maroon Joy-Con that I purchased for a pretty penny that I love. I don't mind using them.
nice.
And
Yes,
two
because
Pro
of that
controllers.
wild area. With the wild area, we got free camera movement finally. So that's great. They did announce some sad news for me at least. Well, other people as well. If you play Pokemon games on the regular, they announced the Pokemon Home, where it's like a base where you can bring all your Pokemon from all these 3DS games you've had, from Pokemon Go, Pokemon Let's Go, Pikachu and Eevee, and they announced that not all Pokemon will be able to enter Sword and Shield, be able to be transferred to Sword and Shield from Pokemon Home. Only the ones that are featured in the Pokedex of the region. And then that's what the English translator said.
I don't know if that's quite right. Are you
Apparently,
sure?
yeah, that Pokemon Home you can get all the Pokemon in Pokemon Home, but you can only transfer out the Pokemon that are going to be in the Pokedex of Sword and Shield to Sword and Shield. If they're not part of the Pokedex in Sword and Shield, you cannot they have to stay in Pokemon Home. Another resource that I learned this from another resource today, that's what the English translator said, but the actual producer of Pokemon stated that moving forward from Sword and Shield onward in the new games, there's going to be a set amount of Pokemon. Like they're gonna be matching up Pokemon to match the theme. So for example, if they have a new Pokemon game down the line that's based like on like ghost type Pokemon, and they just want to
I
match the
know what
Pokemon
you're
with the
trying
theme.
to say. I know what you're
Yeah,
trying to
it's
say.
because they haven't said it much, but they're gonna be rotating Pokemon out pretty much. Like this region's gonna have so many of the old Pokemon. The next game will have so many of the old Pokemon because they said it wasn't concerned with balance and gameplay design and the amount of time it takes for all this to happen. I guess, which is a big, like I took that
Bummer.
as a negative. Yeah, it's a bummer. Like I have all these Pokemon. Like I believe I have every single Pokemon, including legendaries and shinies, that I may not be able to use in Sword and Shield, and then I may not be able to even use it in the next game if they don't allow it in that one, and I'm finally might be able to use it in the following one after that. So I mean, I
Yeah.
understand that it takes a long time to design these Pokemon and all the animation and stuff, but I wish they weren't limiting it to
It's
the way
gonna
they
throw
are
competitive
currently.
battling up in the air too.
Well, yes and no. This is where I started thinking about the competitive battling. This is actually kind of a good thing for competitive battling. Let's just say Blaziken is one of the strong Pokemons in competitive battling. Blaziken, Gyarados, um, who else? Togekiss is a great battler in double battles. Now, when these like when the meta Pokemon aren't available in that region, now you're making other Pokemon more viable that normally won't see battle. You see where
Yeah,
we're going with
but
that?
that's also
So
why
you
they
make
use tiers. They have Pokemon tiers for that exact reason. You know, you have overused tiers, rarely used tiers, usually
well,
used tiers,
if
so
you're
that
using
Pokemon get
Smogon
used.
rules, if you're using the Smogon rules, but when you go with actual Pokemon, like Nintendo sponsored Pokemon events, uh, it's more of a meta than tiers. 'Cause I know Smogon has its own tiers, like never used, overly used, Uber. I'm not quite familiar with them because I stopped using those tiers when people do like battles, and then the tournaments they hold themselves. But when you talk about like Nintendo and Pokemon, the actual Pokemon company itself, their Pokemon League, just like the trading card game, they they end up using just the meta characters. Like if Charizard X, Mega Charizard X is the most popular one, people are using it. So with limiting how many Pokemon are available to transfer over, they're kind of controlling
The
the
meta.
meta of the Pokemon games and giving more, because there's gonna be over 1,000 Pokemon at one point. They're giving other Pokemon a chance to be more viable in battles and such when it comes to
Yeah, it
competitive
still makes
battles.
me sad. What you're saying
It,
makes
it,
sense,
it
but I'm
is.
still
It is sad,
disappointed.
but I can see where they're going with it, but it is still kind of stinks that you're never gonna have that one game that you have all your Pokemon in. So that was a bit of a bummer news, but I see where they're going with that. I definitely see where
Yeah.
they're going with that.
So, moving on to our very last piece of news. Obviously, the news that got everyone really talking. Breath of the Wild sequel was announced to be in development. This is a direct sequel to the events of Breath of the Wild.
Oof, that trailer, man,
Yeah,
goosebumps,
yeah, I
goosebumps.
love that. I beat Breath
That
of the
was
Wild. How'd you do?
I made it to the first dungeon, and I beat the first
Well,
dungeon,
I mean,
and then
you
something
could just go
happened.
straight to Ganon if you wanted to. If you really
Yeah, I
wanted to,
know.
you
At
could
any
just go
point you
straight to
could. I
Ganon.
know. I'm going to beat it this summer though. That is happening. Um, that like I don't think this was leaked. It was completely unexpected. It was amazing. The trailer was beautiful. I you guys should definitely check out the trailer. It was beautiful. It was amazing. It is mysterious. It looks very mysterious. They have Zelda and Link together, which kind of gives me like a vibe that maybe we're gonna be playing some Zelda in this one, playing as Zelda maybe, or maybe switching between the both of them, or
Yeah, I could
maybe
see that
some
happening.
co-op play. Co-op play would
Yes,
be
definitely some
nice.
co-op puzzles. I could see that happening.
Man, that would be pretty cool. So yeah, it was that announcement was amazing. I Nintendo hit it out of the park this year, man, just like they did last year. Very great E3 presence and great announcements. September, I might as well not even like all these games coming out in September, man. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
You may
I
as well just
don't
let
know what
your
I'm going
house
to do
foreclose.
because there are so many games coming out. We got like even before September, Mario Maker this month. Uh, there's another game coming out. I forgot the name of it. There's a lot of games coming out. So between now and like December, I don't know what I'm doing with all these purchases. Like it's the months. It's the complete opposite of the Wii U. Complete opposite. There's
Credit
not
card
enough
debt
money.
season.
Yeah, there's not enough money to get all these games. There's so many games, so many third-party releases, so many first-party releases, so many just classic games coming out, remakes. It's it's a wonderful time to be a gamer. That's for sure. At least on
That
Nintendo's
is
console.
that has been a phrase that Mike and I have said on and off ever since we started doing this channel. It is a great time to be a gamer. And I think that is the best place to leave this on. So try and check us out at least once a week. That's how often we try and do this. You might like what you find. I am and shall always be Ambassador Chris.
And I am Ambassador Jason.
And we'll see you next time. Now you say goodbye.
See you guys.
We're gone.
Bye, guys.